Join me as I dive into the wild and challenge myself to find the craziest animal encounters where they totally pick the wrong fight. When we think of wild animals, we often imagine them as fierce and formidable creatures, always ready to take on any opponent that comes their way. But sometimes, these animals can make some pretty unexpected choices when it comes to picking a fight. You'd think that animals would have a more intuitive sense of self-preservation, and that they'd know better than to take on opponents that are way out of their league. But the truth is, animals can be just as impulsive and irrational as humans, and sometimes they'll engage in battles that seem illogical or misguided. In the wild, there are plenty of examples of animals that have bitten off more than they can chew, so to speak. Whether it's a tiny insect trying to take down a giant bird, or a small predator going after a much larger prey, these encounters often end in disaster for one or both parties involved. Sometimes, these ill-advised battles can even have a ripple effect on the entire ecosystem, altering the balance of power and resources within a particular habitat. Let's take a look at some specific examples of these encounters, featuring animals that should have known better than to pick a fight. One classic example is the case of the mongoose and the cobra. Mongooses are known for their fearlessness and agility, but even they can make mistakes. When a mongoose takes on a cobra, it's often a recipe for disaster, as the snake's deadly venom can easily overwhelm the mongoose's defenses. Another example is the battle between the African wild dog and the hyena. Despite being outnumbered, hyenas are notorious for their strength and cunning, and they often come out on top in conflicts with wild dogs. Then there's the bizarre case of the octopus and the shark. It's not every day you see an octopus take on a predator as powerful as a shark, but when it does happen, it's often a spectacle to behold. But of all the wild animal encounters I've come across, there's one that really takes the cake: the battle between the honey badger and the lion. This is a fight that should never have happened, and yet it did, with surprising consequences. The honey badger, despite its small size, is known for its ferocity and tenacity, but even it should have known better than to take on a full-grown lion. And yet, in this particular encounter, the badger somehow managed to come out on top, sending the lion packing with its tail between its legs. This just goes to show that, in the wild, anything can happen, and even the most unlikely underdogs can emerge victorious. It's a powerful reminder of the unpredictability of nature and animal behavior. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed these wild and wacky animal encounters. If you've got any thoughts or stories to share, be sure to leave them in the comments below.